Hello, I'm Arthur. Welcome to my lab. Here's another interesting thing that I bought recently. This is a microphone. Project It digital USB desktop microphone with adjustable tripod stand. And it's a Radioshack product. Bummer that Radioshack doesn't exist anymore. I think they went online only. They sold and then closed the stores, or they sold the stores to Sprint, I believe, and then Sprint closed the stores. It was really convenient, to just be able to run to nearest Radio Shack and buy this or that, some batteries or some cables, or even some electronics parts. In the older days, they had a pretty decent selection of basic parts and connectors, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so this is a microphone that I came across and I bought it. But this is a socket for the USB cable, but the socket is missing. Some dummy shoved the cable in so hard that he broke off the connector. You can actually, I think you can, well, not right now. You can hear it. Yeah, there you go. You can hear it rattling around inside. So let's take a look inside and see if we can fix this. Now, first I thought that you push on this mesh somehow to take this off, because this piece of plastic seemed like the whole solid piece. But then I realized that you actually unscrew that. This rim here is a screw-on part. So you can unscrew this front like so. And then you have a couple of screws. So you remove those. Actually, I'll need this screwdriver for that. So here's one. Here's the other. And of course, this is the microphone itself. Let's not lose these screws. Then you pop this off. And here are two PCBs inside. One for the LED, for the status light, and the push button, I'm guessing, to turn the mic on and off. And then the main PCB with the USB interface. So let's unplug the other PCB like so. And ta-da! Here's the connector. And actually, I've already looked inside of this microphone. I'm just reenacting taking this apart. So here's the connector. Hopefully I can eventually get this to focus here for you guys. And actually, what happened is that as they were ripping this connector off the PCB, you should see this blank space here. They actually pulled the trace off of the board. This trace goes to this transistor or diode. Yeah, it's marked as D2, so I'm guessing it's a diode, like some sort of clamping diode. So I'm going to have to resolder this connector and then use a wire wrap wire to reattach this trace to here, or maybe try to glue down this trace, which I believe is still attached to the connector. See if I can reattach this trace to a transistor. So this connector goes right here. So this will be a fun little project, resurrecting this monitor or this microphone. So I'm gonna get to it, and I'm not gonna record actually soldering this, but I'll show you the final effect. Talking about Radioshack, to make this repair, I've used this blue wire wrapping wire, which I bought at Radioshack years ago. And now that I think about it, I should have bought a good supply when the Radioshack stores were closing. I should have bought a whole bunch of good stuff, like this soldering or solder that is really nice. I like it. a lot. It has the right diameter for things that I work on, and it just works great. This is old school leaded solder. It's fantastic, gets the job done excellently, and I still have a decent amount of it, but sooner or later I'm going to run out of it, and it's gonna suck because by then I probably won't be able to buy this type of solder. And another thing that I bought at Radioshack is this wire wrapping tool, which use this end to wrap the wire around pins of whatever circuit you're working on, and it comes with a little handy tool to strip the insulation off of the wire. So that's another thing that I have from Radioshack. But I digress. Here's the repair. I soldered the connector in place, and I was actually surprised how easily it went in. I thought it would require a lot more heat, but it went in nicely. And here's the blue wire that I connected to the pin instead of a missing trace, and to this diode. So this should do the trick. I'm not sure where else this signal goes after the diode, but it seems like this trace ended on this diode, and maybe it jumps to the other side and then branches off. Yeah, it looks like there's a via right here, so maybe that's where it went. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Let's give it a try. I don't know if I need any drivers for this microphone. Maybe not. So let's just plug it into my computer and see what happens. So I'm plugging in the, although I should, looks like I need to slide this board in first a little bit, and then plug in the switch and the LED, like so. Slide it in all the way, and ta-da! Here's the connector. So let's plug it in. Let's plug it in and see if my computer will just pick up this microphone. There we go, the light turned on or flashed briefly, which probably means that this thing is trying to operate. And if I push the button, let's see, the light stays on, and I don't know whether that means that I'm getting any signal. I don't see my computer popping up any messages about this new device being present, so I'll have to troubleshoot this and see what else may be needed to get this thing working. I think I've discovered what frustrated the previous owner of this microphone so badly that they shoved that cable inside of the mic. So this is the original connector, and it was very flaky. I had to, after inserting the USB cable into it, I had to push the cable up to make a connection. And so I think maybe that's what it was, that it wasn't making a good connection. So I grabbed another connector, I replaced the original connector with this one, a new one. And so of course I had to redo my little jumper wire, this guy right here. There we go. That's better. I'm getting there. Okay, so I had to replace this connector and redo the jumper wire, but still the microphone didn't work. So I used my tone tester to make sure that all the connections are good. And the way I did that was I just looked at the pins and how they are connected, and I knew that the first pin, looks like by the trace, is connected to this diode. So I went to the diode and then I touched the pin. It's kind of tricky to see it here, but if you look at the USB connector, you can actually see the pins. There you go. On the edge right here, you can see these pins sticking out. so you can barely touch them, and then touch the other side, and it's really difficult to do to do this while trying to record it. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but basically you get, there you go, you get the idea. So I tone tested all these pins, and that first pin that I just tried, that was not connected, so I had to scrape off the solder protect off of the trace here a little bit and use solder to bridge the pin to the trace, and that made it work. So now I've already tested this, and this microphone was recognized by my computer. So I'm putting it back together, plugging it in, push the PCB all the way in. Did I get it right? Yeah. Put the front on, and now if I plug in my USB cable, you should hear it registering. There you go. It went live, and so this is a mute button. Now the microphone is inactive with the mute button being red, and now the microphone is live and I can record the audio. So now I have a nice little microphone. Just a quick repair. Good thing that I had a replacement connector on hand. This one, maybe it's okay. Maybe it was just a trace that wasn't making a good contact, but I feel better after replacing it anyway, because maybe it was a bad connector making bad junction. So anyway, looks like the mic is back in business, and I have a new toy to play with. See you guys later. And just to make sure that this microphone works, I'm recording this audio now through this microphone, and so that's the quality of the audio that you hear now is the quality that I'm getting from this microphone, and I expect it to be quite a bit better than what I'm getting through the microphone built into my phone that I'm using to record the video. So that's the final test of this microphone, and I know that it works, and let's see how well it works. I'm going to edit this video now and review the quality of the audio. Actually, while I was recording, I've noticed that there were some glitches in the quality of the audio. Some of it got mangled, and I'm not sure whether that's my computer or the microphone. I'm pretty sure actually that it's the computer. It just couldn't keep up with the bit rate of the video coming in, because I'm using the application that records both audio and my screen. I'm just going to use only audio. That's just the first application that I had handy that I could use to make that recording. So hopefully this time around this audio is nice and clear, and there's no distortion, and I'll be able to use it in the video.